boys and girls. Chasity Scott with Beaver Creek Farms in Opelika. It's a new farm established this year, 2020. And today I'd like to take Miss Martha on a tour to show you some of the berries and bushes and vegetables and stuff we have on our farm. Here we have a fig tree, and the figs are coming in bloom. Probably a few more weeks before you can harvest them. They're good for fig preserves and other kind of sweet treats. Come with me. Here we have our blueberry bushes, several different varieties.
Nice.
We have about 120 bushes. It takes about an hour to pick a gallon of blueberries.
Wow.
Maybe if you have a couple of people, maybe a little less time than that. Because what you do is you end up tasting them the whole time that you're trying to pick them, so it's hard to get a whole gallon.
Well, show us what you do when you pick them.
So when they first come in, let's take this one for example. When they first come in, they're green, and they come in about May, and they'll produce until about early July. They're green here, and then they'll like grow into like red, and then purple, and then blue. And if you was to come pick, you would want to pick your darker blueberries with like the white covering on them.
Show us picking some.
Here is a big one. If you look at this bush here, you see how there's different sizes. I wouldn't pick that one, but I would pick this one. And a technique that some of us use is we will cup our hands under the patch of berries and kind of roll them off with our finger.
Oh, that makes it easier.
If they roll off, that means they're ready to be picked. And then you eat them.
Looks very yummy. So do y'all have a bunch of workers out here, or how do you manage this farm?
We do not. It's just me and my family. I just bought the farm this year.
Wow.
And so there's a lot of learning. It's a huge learning curve. But right now it's me and my children. We're a homeschooling family. I have 5 boys. 2 are married and graduated out and have a grandbaby on the way.
Ah,
and
exciting.
I have 2 teenagers at home, and so they help on the farm.
So what do they help do to keep the farm up?
Well, farm-wise, just cutting grass, trimming leaves, keeping the property kept up. And right now, it's not very kept up because we've had about 4 days of rain, and so we have to get back on it today and tomorrow. They will fertilize and.
Well, what is fertilizing? What do they do when they fertilize?
That is what they do with their dad.
But the fertilizer helps what?
They put other nutrients back in the soil that the soil may be depleted of, like nitrogen or magnesium, things like that. So we have, up here we have peaches. I don't know how many peach trees there are there.
What do you do to them? How do you keep those up?
You're supposed to fertilize them and spray them a couple of times a year. And that we didn't have the farm at that point, so it didn't happen this year.
So what else do you have on the farm?
There's some apple trees somewhere in the top corner, but that's a very long way to walk. There's a persimmon tree here. And then we have a pomegranate tree on the bottom left up there. I'm not sure when that produces.
Let's look at your lake. Let's go. What's in your lake?
Okay, let's walk.
Okay, I'm following you.
Following me, nice. Like
so, I've got me a bag that I'm going to eat for sure. So we're looking at some of the blueberries as we're walking by. So how long do they produce?
They will continue to produce until about end of June, early July. And
now, what can they be used for? What can they be used for?
We are using them to make blueberry dump cakes, which is a good recipe with yellow cake mix and sugar. And it's kind of mushy right here. I'm glad you put your tennis shoes on. That's another thing. When you come to pick any kind of berries, you want to wear your old tennis shoes because it is a farm and might get wet and mushy. Like right now, there's water sloshing beneath our feet. We had a storm come through, knocked down some trees a couple of days ago. The day after, we cleaned all this.
Oh no!
The limbs are back down. But in the pond, there are bass, crappie, lots of turtles,
Oh, wow.
and snakes. No catfish at this point. There's also brim. And so it's not open to the public. It's a private lake for family. And the boys love to fish when they get a break from working the farm.
So that's kind of their reward.
Yes, yes. One of them absolutely loves to fish. And so, as far as this goes, Dad maintains the pond, but I do know that he puts fertilizer in it a couple times a year to help with the algae, to control the algae. There's something swimming across the water out there right now. Do you see it? It's like straight up, it's like in the light. It went under. It's probably a turtle.
Ah.
This concludes our tour.
All right. Thanks, Miss Chastity.
You are welcome.